And I thought I would do a breakdown of what they look like because I have these consultations where I'm explaining to people who are in Europe or in Australia, or if they're in Asia or Africa or South America or the States, Los Angeles, Tennessee. And I want to talk also about how much fat you should take because a lot of you guys are jumping on the fat train in comparison to how much protein. Because a lot of people are just going by some 80-20 thing. Ditch that. Don't do that. Okay, let me get a glass of water here because it's about to get jiggy. I'm probably going to have to do this twice because I think that the longer I'm on, the more people will arrive on this live stream. Now, um, Bullets Gotti Show 2.0. All right, so this is the deal. A lot of Europeans will, they'll use grams, okay? And we use ounces here in the United States. Okay, so I always say that 1 ounce is like one finger. 2 ounces is like two fingers with the thickness of those fingers. So for people in Europe, when I say, you know, I want you to have, let's say, 15 grams of liver. And I'm talking about weight, right? That's about, or if I say 2 ounces, let's say, that's about 15 grams. 2 ounces? No. In weight, 2 ounces is more like 50 grams in weight. Yeah, it's 50. So if I'm like, okay, I want you to have 2 ounces for people who are living the rest of the world, that's what it looks like. That's 2 ounces. That's like that much, right? And that's about 50 grams in weight. That's not the amount of protein per molecule, but that's just the weight. And people become very confused about when I say, okay, your total protein for the day should be, let's say for a man who's 6'2", athletic, 95 grams of protein. This is for a man who works out. 95 grams of protein. Well, do I mean in weight? No, because in weight, 95 grams would be that much. That's not a lot. I'm not talking about, that's like 90 grams, 90 grams. I'm not talking about in weight. I'm talking about in total protein. So yay, Delia. She finally cut me live. But what is 90 grams of total protein in weighted protein? So 90 or 95 grams is going to be about, let's see, probably in weighted protein, we're going to have 90 grams is going to be about, let's see, 25, 400 grams, 400 to 500 grams in weight. So I just wanted to clear this up because a lot of people are so confused between ounces and grams of total protein and grams in weight. And they're all different. Okay, let's talk about, before I start giving you more visuals, because I'm waiting for more people to come into the house, let's talk about the amount of protein you should have in comparison to your fat. Forget this 80-20 absolute garbled, that makes no sense. We're not doing percentages. We're going to do grams. So you're going to do percentages off of a gram of food, like total food. Oops, not weight. I hope I'm not confusing you guys. Okay, so for example, Ian says, Pollard says, don't forget to like up the stream. Okay, 200 grams of fat, right? That's your 80% fat. That's the baseline. And that's why we got to be very careful with percentages. We're not talking calories. We're not talking grams in weight. Let's talk about, yeah, we are talking about grams in weight, sorry. We're not talking about total grams. We're talking about, hold on, let me get my brain straight. Now I'm getting confused. Okay, so we're doing 200 grams of fat. Okay, so here's the thing about fat. Fat is very confusing because they match almost perfectly. 15 grams of fat, of total fat, is about the same in weight, but that doesn't work the same in protein, right? If you're talking about 20, let's say 22 total grams of protein is about 22 grams is about 50 or 60 grams in weight. Not the same. Not the same. Okay, let's continue. If you're a woman, because most of you guys are women, and there are men, we're going to do men and women. Let's talk about the 200 grams of fat. Now, I really feel that that's more geared towards women, but that's like everybody. You start baseline at 200 and you go up. You're only going to go under 200 grams of fat if you are very small, like 4'11", 1 meter, like 58 or something. Yeah. Oh, no, sorry, not 1 meter, 58, 158 centimeters. Yeah, or 55 centimeters. But if we're talking about 4'11" in height, then your protein can go down, which means your fat might be at the lower end of like hitting 200 rather than being above. But for everyone else who's that, 100 grams of steak is about 25 grams of protein. Thank you, Gula Gunya. Yes, that is correct. Now, if you're eating, let's say if you're a woman, I'm gonna do men and women. Okay, let's say myself, for example. If I'm eating in a meal, 4 to 4.5 ounces of cooked protein, right? We're not talking about 80-20 beef. We're just saying protein in general. It is going to be in between if I'm having chicken, thighs, or legs in comparison to ground beef. Ground beef is going to have a lot more fat in it and less protein per ounce per weighted gram. So let's say that I have 4 to 4.5. Now, before I was doing 3 ounces of protein, which is about 85 grams in weight, and 3 ounces of protein puts me around 18 grams of protein in total protein. I know. But with that 4 ounces of protein, I'm going to have 3, 4, or 5 tablespoons of fat. Now I can't use myself because I always go like 8. So if we're taking, I overindulge in fat. You guys don't have to go as high in fat, especially women who are at my size. I'm 5'3", not very tall. I'm trying to do this so this hits everybody. So it's kind of hard to use one person, but I'm trying to get you guys to realize, like, if I'm eating, let's say, a total in a day, 220 grams of fat, right, weighted and in molecules, then my protein to match up that, let's say, 220 to 230 grams of fat is going to put me at about 60 to 65 grams of total protein for the day, or 50 to 55. Actually, I used to do a lot of 55 grams of protein. Let's say 55 to 60 grams of protein. Yes. That's how much your 80, 15, 5, right? 80% fat, 15% protein, 5% carbohydrate. For those who are doing carnivore, there is carbohydrates in meat, but very low. So it's like pointless to even count it. But what I want you to do is kind of get a visual of 4 ounces, right? So that's 4 ounces. That's about 4 ounces right there. That's a big palm. That's because I lift. A muscular palm. So that's 4 ounces right there. And if it's 5, it's going to be about that. So that's about 5 ounces. So in weighted grams, not molecules, but in weighted grams, 4 ounces is about 112 grams. That's about that big. So you can go max if you're very active or taller with a lean body mass as a woman, up to 5 ounces measured cooked. That's really on the high end because that can put you up towards 30 grams of protein, and I don't want you to have 90 grams of protein a day. So depending on the cut of meat. So I'd rather have women do about that much, right? So 3.5 to 4 ounce, 3.5 to 4 ounces of protein per meal. Now, if you wake up in the morning and you're not hungry, then you can cut that size. This is for women. Men, it's going to be more towards the, with my hand size. For men, it's going to be more towards the most of that hand, not the whole thing, because we don't want up to 6 ounces, 7 ounces per meal. That'll put you over 100 grams protein per day. We don't want to do that. But for a woman, oh my goodness, after starting high fat, low protein, I'm having the worst beef aversion. Diversify your meats. Okay, so if I'm doing this much protein, right, with about this much thickness up here, with that meal, in one meal, I'm going to have about 60 grams of fat. That's weighted and total molecules. So I'm going to have about 4 tablespoons of fat per meal. Lowest, you want to go 3 tablespoons. This, my people, is a tablespoon. Okay? Let's get the tablespoon. For people in Europe, it's a soup spoon. That's a tablespoon. It's very easy when I'm like, oh, just put 3 spoons of butter on your food. That's a better visual than even thinking of the grams, right? Grams in weight or total molecules of grams of fat, because it's pretty much 1-to-1. It matches up pretty well. So that's how much fat is a tablespoon. Do that in front of your face and see how big it is. That's about how much it is. That's a tablespoon, okay? This is a teaspoon. Different size. People in Europe, it's a teaspoon. This is how much salt, people, that you guys are going to have a day, right? Some people are having tablespoons of salt and they're destroying their electrolytes. So pretty much half meat, fat, half butter. No, meat, fat. Oh, are you saying half your meat, fat plus the butter makes your total fat for the day? Is that what you're asking? So this is a friggin' tablespoon, people. It's so much easier to go put a couple tablespoons of fat on the plate. Tablespoons. So a chop of Kerrygold butter, like a little square piece of it, that's about a tablespoon. I hope this is making sense. Okay, you guys know I don't go by script. So, good, Josh. Thank you. So, when I'm saying, if I'm having 3.5 to 4 ounces of protein cooked, and then grams in weight, that would be 3.5 would be around 85, 90 to 112 grams in weight, not total protein, that's about the same for 3 of these or 4 of these, which would make it 45 grams of protein for 3 of these. That's total protein. Or it will be, or I'll go up to 60 grams, just 4 of these per meal. That means 1, 2, 3, 4 on my plate. That's what I do. And for those who've got issues with protein and kidney issues and chronic dehydration and constipation, up your fat. Don't up the protein, up the fat. Now I'm going to answer you guys' questions in a second. A lot of people are like, but if you up the fat, won't you get fat? I'm like, ugh. You guys need to understand the science of ketones. Ketones, fat that you eat, okay, does not have the same insulin response unless you're having a histamine reaction to it or a gallbladder, an inflammatory reaction. But if your gallbladder is great and you don't have insulin resistance and you eat fat, your insulin does this. Bink. When you eat carbs, your insulin does this. Bleh. That's a big difference. Okay? Because it's the insulin that's going to decide if you want to get fat or not. Not the food that you're eating. It's how athletic you are, how much muscle you have that's going to gobble up sugar, right, through GLUT4 receptor sites. These things are indicative. The mitochondria within your muscle cell. If you guys don't work out and you don't got the gains and your blood sugar's running high, you can't lose weight. You're going to lose bone, tissue, proteins, water. You step on a scale, you're losing that, but you ain't you are not accessing the fat that you so desperately want to burn. So I'm going to answer you guys' questions in a sec. So it's really important to get an eyeball version. I'm using the teaspoon. So you guys, don't do teaspoons of fat on the plate. Do tablespoons. That's a big difference, okay? Don't make fun of my Walmart spoon. All right. I think this is my IKEA. Or as the Swedish say, de säger IKEA. De inte säger IKEA. In Sweden, they do not call this company IKEA. They call it IKEA. Somebody said, I hate when you speak Swedish in your live streams. I'm like, well, you need to go to somebody else's channel where they don't do that. All right, so now that you've got the tablespoon, teaspoon thing, now I can kind of explain like electrolytes or fats and things of this nature. For those who have hypoglycemia, I want you to understand. Somebody giving a lot of information from Dr. Burke. I hope it's about the adrenal system and the chiropractic arena. But I digress. So, because he's really good at that stuff. If you guys, or sometimes people have hypoglycemia, I want people to, sometimes I'll say to my clients, do 2 tablespoons of ground beef with a tablespoon of fat to help stabilize your blood sugar. That's 2 of these and 1 of these of fat as a like mid-morning snack or an afternoon snack. This is not to feed you. This is to keep your blood sugar stable, right? Because when you chew and you start to digest, your body cranks out cortisol. So that's why people start to see high blood sugar within the hour of eating. After the second hour, blood sugar goes down. Right? So that's why we look at 2-hour mark to check your blood sugar. 3 is pushing it. 3-hour mark is pushing it. 2 hours is really objective. So to keep people's blood sugar stable, to not spike too much or drop too much, I say have 2 tablespoons of a fatty meat and 1 tablespoon or 2 of fat, pure fat, put together, that food. I hope that makes sense. Now, a slice of bacon is about 1 ounce, okay? A slice of bacon, if we crumble it all up, 1 ounce is about, I think 1 ounce is 30 grams. That's 2 of these. That's 1 ounce, I believe. So yeah, you can have 1 ounce, or you can have 2 ounces, or you can have 2 tablespoons of liver. If you guys are like, how much liver do I have every day? You can have 2 tablespoons a day. Or you can have 1/4 cup a day. Okay? Don't make fun of my plastic, okay? My BPA plastic. So if we're talking about 1/4 of a cup, this is 60 milliliters. If I'm saying, love you, Stephanie, you always make my day and correct me up. Okay, your personality is where it's at. Thank you. So when I'm saying like, when people are like, for people who cannot, if you have really bad hypoglycemia, this is kind of weird because sometimes people have hypoglycemia, cannot do carbs. And then some people who've got hypoglycemia, they must do starches and carbs. It's just really difficult to decipher. I have to have like consultations with these people and really figure out which one are they. Are they the ones that cannot do carbs and they must do a ketogenic diet? Or are they the ones that can't do a ketogenic diet because the blood sugar keeps rebounding and doing this physiological insulin resistance rebound. Now, a cup of rice is too much, right? Often for people who are doing carbs, these aren't ketotic people. These are not carnivore or keto people. These are low carb, high fat people. We want to do a half a cup, not a whole cup. And is 1 scrambled egg and 2 teaspoons of butter. It's perfect. It's good for a snack. I'd rather have you do the yolk. For a snack, I'd rather have you do 2 yolks and a tablespoon of fat, or 2. Okay. You have to say cooked or uncooked of what? Depends on what you're eating. Now, all right. So bacon is pretty much pork belly, so it definitely comes in different thicknesses and sizes, so that's a really subjective one. But if you're going to have, let's say, for anybody, if you're going, like restaurants serve you about 4 ounces of protein because they cheat, right? You're having 4 ounces of cooked protein, probably starts off at 5 ounces raw. That's the size a chicken breast is, around 4 ounces, or a chicken thigh. That's about that much. With that, you would have at least 3 of these. That's 45 grams. 3 at least or more of fat per main meal. That's breakfast, that's lunch, and that's dinner. At least 3 of these on the plate. On the plate, on the plate, on the plate with your meat. If you're having a snack, you would have 1 of these tablespoon, 1 to 2 of fat with a snack, with about 2, you can go up to 3, but around 2 tablespoons, which is 15 grams, right? 2 of them making 30 grams of, let's say, ground beef or pork belly or sardines or fish or whatever. Now, this is if you're not hungry, right? This is if you're not hungry and we just want to keep the blood sugar stable. If you're hungry, you can have a little bit more, let's say, pork belly. Pork belly is great because it's so high in fat. You could have straight fat. You could have a broth, right? So a cup is not that much. So you might want to do 2 cups of a broth. You could do 1 cup of broth. And then you want to put, let's say, 2 egg yolks, raw yolks, in the broth with a tablespoon or 2 in that broth and drink it. That's a snack. Actually, that's a good size. 1 cup is a good size for a snack of broth. I'm not talking bone broth. Now, mind you, I have plans on my website, and they still say bone broth in them. For those who are like, you said there's, but you're not. And I'm like, I'm updating all my meal plans right now, guys. But my meal plans right now are still great guides. They're really, really good, especially these carnivore people who are trying to go high fat. They're great. But some things like bone broth, I do not recommend anymore. You can have it, but if you have histamine intolerance, then don't have it. All right, so your electrolytes. Please, everyone, you only, tablespoon, teaspoon. Do not have a tablespoon of salt. Do not. That's dangerous, okay? This is about 5 to 6 grams. So when I say a teaspoon of salt, that's on a winter day when you're not sweating a lot. Otherwise, you'd have 1 of these and a half more. 1 to 1.5. 1.5. That's it. Do not do tablespoons of salt. And some of you all do tablespoons of salt, and you're wondering why you're swelling up like a balloon, because you're not consistent with your potassium, and you're just taking in sodium. And you're dropping your potassium when you take in too much salt. Your kids just polished off 2 pounds of bacon. Gotta get it in. It depends on how many kids you have. I hope that wasn't in a day. Michael says you'd be looking good, girl. You be working out or something? Yes, I've been working out for years, Michael. Jeez. Oh, good. Don't forget to like up the stream, guys. I'm trying to clear up the macro madness. A lot of you guys are very, very confused on how this works. I'm trying to do like American system converted into European system. I'm getting a little confused myself. But it's very, very important to understand for those who are going to high-fat carnivore that you have to hit 200 grams of fat a day. So let's get that very clear. 12 of these added to your plate, if this is a plate, right? If this is a plate, you're going to add 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 for the whole day. 12. That's 167 grams of fat. But per meal, at least 1, 2, 3, right? Or you could do like me, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, right? Especially for breakfast. I can go up to 10. There is no limit to fat. There is no fat limits to fat, you guys. There's only a limit if you have a gallbladder problem, right? It doesn't damage your liver, but it may not convert ketones well if you've got a high enzyme count, if your liver enzymes are not too happy. If the liver tubules are a little thick, then eating a bunch of fat isn't going to hurt the liver, but you may not be able to convert fat into ketones because that's where you do it, is in the liver. So we really want to make sure that we have a nice liver cleanse, and or make sure that your liver is functioning properly, or do milk thistle for 1 month. Now, people have got kidney issues and a low GFR. This is the kidney filtration rate, the glomerular filtration rate. This fat will not hurt the kidneys, right? It's protein, because protein leaves waste products that have to be filtered through the kidneys. People get that very confused. If you've got, if you've got kidney disease, or like, oh, but if you eat a lot of fat, you're going to damage your kidneys and your liver. And I'm like, no, do not listen to that. Now, let me think here. So 200 grams of fat, you're going to start 12 of these, and then the rest of the fat that you consume, and I'm just really at this juncture you can count monounsaturated fats from olive oil and olives and stuff like that. And I know those are on my old plans, of course, because, avocados are so important. But the real counting of great ketone production comes from animal fat. We are made up of all three, mono, poly, and saturates. We're not just made up of saturated fat and cholesterol. We're made up of monounsaturated fat and polys. So things like avocado and olives are mainly a mono. Okay, let me see if I get back down here. So 200 grams of fat is what you want to start with. That's at least 12 of these on the plate. And what you get in the meat should hit you at 200 grams or higher. The rest is coming from your meat fat. I don't count the cooking because it oxidizes, some of it sticks to the plate, and the higher the fat, the better to get those ketones. So I've worked with so many people over the years with glucometers. I can say that over other gurus, because I've just been doing this freaking shite forever. And when people up their fat, as long as they don't have a gallbladder problem, the ketones go poof. A lot of people see like 0.9 and 0.8 and 0.6. No, even a 1.2, too low, right? We want to start heading towards 1.6 on your ketones, millimoles, or higher, to start watching those ketones pop up. Now, for those who've got really greasy, floaty stool, and you're eating a bunch of fat and you're having a little bit of gallbladder problems, you're probably not in ketosis. I'm sorry, you're losing fat through the toilet. Let me see. We're going to take some of you guys' comments now. How do you feel about keto by doctors as not sustainable? Because they don't know anything about it. Like, these people are idiots. I'm sorry, Kevin B. You have these doctors that will say that keto is not sustainable, but like carnivore is. Carnivore is worse than keto with its sustainability. The problem is that these doctors, first of all, they're eating cheese and nuts, or they're getting in people who do the keto diet who are eating cheese, nuts, and coffee and Red Bulls and friggin' fasting and eating too much protein and don't have their electrolytes on point, and then they'll do this keto thing and destroy their health. And that's why doctors say it's not good for you, because clients or not clients, patients will come in and be like, you know, I've got gout, I've got kidney pain, you know, people are doing a bunch of green smoothies on it, you know, I've got a thyroid problem, my period stopped. Of course, doctors are going to say that keto is stupid, because people are doing it wrong. Because keto, this is why I want these diets to completely burn and die. Like, go away. Do not stick around, because get it out of the mainstream, because the people that are learning this are learning such garbled, just caca-poo-poo, boo-boo, that they get hurt. That's why I go so hard on anybody trying to teach it, because they're like, oh, cheese counts, go for it. And you can get your, and you can get your minerals from friggin' the meat. Just eat meat and salt. That's all you need, right? Or do carnivore and fruit. Like, you hear the dumbest crap I've ever heard in my life. It's like genetically modified fruit, the selectively bred, cross-pollinated, and then they've got all this fructose in their diet and meat. Like you cannot store glycogen off of fructose. You cannot. People don't eat enough fat. People classically eat too much protein and start having a low GFR, and then start having kidney pain and start developing. People who've got underlying gout and they don't know it, then it comes out and their foot starts hurting. These are the reasons why people say that keto is not good for you. And they're going to do it with carnivore too. So let's just wait. Let's just wait for that carnivore to die as well. So then the diehards, the true people who are into this, stick around. We can start over again and have more fun. Because it was so fun when no one ever heard of keto. See, I'm just looking at some of your guys' questions. Because now it's question time, people on the replay. I love you, but stop talking to your people. No, I'm not going to stop talking to them. Does fat give me hot flashes? Are you asking? No, of course not. Only if you have a histamine reaction. Unsubscribe, Berg, Barry, Fung, after just watching a couple of your videos. Oh, my ego loves that. I mean, we all got an ego. But on a serious side, I do appreciate it. That does show that you respect what I'm trying to do. And I've been around for so friggin' long. I'm a complete dinosaur. So I think that after going through so many thousands of clients, somebody said, oh, Stephanie's gone up to 4,000. I'm like, no, that was 4,000 like 7 years ago. Like, I stopped counting after 4,000 people. You learn a lot when you're working with people, especially when you're working with people who are using glucometers, and you're having people write journals, and then they come back to you and things of this nature. It's very, very easy to start seeing the red thread through all of the similar problems that people are having, which is people are eating too much protein, and then they're eating a bunch of muscle meats, and then people's thyroid starts to become underactive, and all kind of stuff. I just did a video on loose stool and constipation on carnivore and what that means and why. See here. I'm going over the questions now. People are getting in. If you guys are wanting to hear about the macros, I broke it all down in tablespoons, and you can rewind and start from the beginning and see what I was talking about. Are you supposed to be eating butter all day long to get 200 grams? No, it can be butter, it can be lard, it can be tallow. But yeah, you just, on the plate, this is me having a plate, this is breakfast, 1, 2, 3. But actually, this is really me. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now, do you have to go up to 6 tablespoons? No, but I just get caught eating it because I love it so much. And there's no limit to fat. There's only, you can't go under this amount, right? So for those who have a gallbladder problem, for example, it's not bad. It's just you get a little like, ugh. You can have 2 tablespoons of fat with protein. People who've got a little bit of a gallbladder sludge, you can't do a broth or a tea with fat because when you try to drink the fat, you feel like, you know, or some people can't do rendered fat where it's like melted down, but they can do it if it's like a big fatty cut of let me give you an example. Okay, hold on one sec. All right, people. So you get a visual. This is pork belly. Okay, you see that? You know, pork belly comes. Now the back, there's this. I think this is a pound or two. I don't know. It's pretty heavy. It feels like 2 pounds. It's really heavy. So some of this has the protein on it. So look at your bacon. So the bacon is coming from pork belly, the belly of a pig. But you see that? Some people, if you don't like completely melt it down, because all I'd have to do is stick this in a pot and let it slow cook down. It'll literally melt down. But some people can't do rendered fat. So they would take this and they would either eat it raw or they would cook it just a little bit and eat that. And that is less harsh on the gallbladder if you have a little sludge, if it's not melted down. So I don't know why the long chain triglycerides are difficult to digest when it's in liquid form and not when you melt it down, it's liquid. And then when it solidifies, it's sort of like a texture like this. But once it's rendered, for some reason, people have a problem with rendered fat. 100 grams of steak is around 25 grams of protein. Yes. So, so for women, eating 25 grams is a little on the high end. I mean, you don't need to have 25 grams of protein. You always want to up the fat and not the protein. I was confused a month ago, but sat and figured it out. Okay, cool. So 400 grams of weighted protein will be roughly 14 ounces of protein, correct. Oh, I need to write it down. Let me see. Let me write it down so my brain sees it. 4 ounces. I'm just writing it down. Okay. So, if you eat So actually, it'd only be about 375 grams of protein total. No, not total, weighted for people, right? So 125, that's 4 ounces. And if we're doing 4 ounces of pork belly, there's no way in heck, HELL, am I going to have, 60 or 70 grams of protein, because look how much fat is on here. And there's only a couple pieces actually have. Even the ones that have meat still have a bunch of fat on it. This is pork belly, just so you guys can see. 3 meals a day, 3 main meals for people, especially with people who have hypoglycemia. I always say with people trying to adapt, eat all day long in the beginning. Small meals so your body can digest it properly. So I would start off, if you guys are not used to eating a breakfast because somebody told you to fast, or you've just been drinking coffee your whole life and fasting, what you can do is eat a small meal, eat about 2.5 to 3 ounces, right? So that's going to be like 50 to 85 grams of protein in the morning, something small, like that's that much. With 3 tablespoons of fat, and that's your breakfast. For those who are doing keto omnivore, you could do, for women, I'm not talking men, 3.5 to 4 ounces measured cooked of 4 ounces, which is 4 ounces is 112 grams in weight. So if I have an avocado or half of an avocado with 4 ounces of protein, and I might have literally, which is what I say to people, let's get to the vegetables. For vegetables, for people who just want a little bit, I would do a half a cup to a cup measured. So that's a cup, right? That's a cup. If for those who are writing the carnivore line, do a half a cup of cooked veggies. This is if you don't bloat on them. A half a cup of cooked veggies 1 time a day at lunch. So, does that make sense, you guys? What meats do you recommend? All fatty meats. Pork, beef, lamb, chicken, fish. Sliced bacon. This is sliced bacon. It's pork belly. But what I love about pork belly, you guys, what I love about pork belly is that it's not cured in anything. It's just the belly of the pig cut up from a butcher. I'm like, it's gonna be like in the 30s, so I'm like, I have the heater on me, and then I was getting too hot, and I turned it off, I'm like, oh, it's cold, I'm cold, I'm hot, I'm cold, I'm hot. But, pork belly is always better than buying bacon. Bacon is cured in salt. Even if it says uncured, it's still cured. And they use salt and they use sugar. So don't be miffed and confused by the nonsense of with the packaging when it says uncured. It's cured. This is uncured. This is the only uncured bacon because there's nothing on it. There's no salt, there's no sugar, there's nothing. I went to a butcher, they took a cut of pork belly, they sliced it up. Boom. You can also have your butcher cut up beef into bacon strips. Beef bacon strips. Love you, Stephanie. You always make my day. Okay, I already read that. Dirt. The rice, when I talk about people doing low carb, high fat, that's rice measured, always cooked, not uncooked at all. See, you need a consultation and you're booked up. No. It says on my site, go, and I'm putting everybody on a list. And now that my taxes are done, and today was a day I worked the entire day. We fixed some fencing. We fixed, I haven't found a farrier yet, you guys. So I had to go and cut and trim my own horse's feet. So I only know my neighbor and my electrician. So the electrician who put my power pole in. And I was like, can you help me? I'm like, I just had too many things to do. So he came over and he helped me cut or trim the feet of my pony and my big horse. Because I have a bad back from being a pro skater and falling on my back constantly. And so I was like, dude, I can't. This will just jank up my back. Why am I digressing? Okay, let's keep going. But if you have no gallbladder, if you have no, there's somebody asked me a question about, I can't remember. If you have no gallbladder, you either have no problem at all because your body has found a new place to store the bile salts made from the liver. And if you do have a problem, then you can use ox bile salts, TUDCA, or lipase, or the both. Or you could do lipase with taurine or glycine or lemon water, or do a cleanse or flush of the biliary duct system. I need to do a video on it where I break it down so it's more clear, because it's kind of hard to just answer that question because everybody reacts differently when they're having sludge, stones, or having no gallbladder at all. You can still do high fat, 100%. I don't have a favorite. Oh, my favorite breakfast is always going to be thymus and liver. Always. I see what you're saying. Question, though. If you have some body fat, would it be better to lower fat? No. Okay. Okay, let me read this again. I'm going to answer this question. Computer pro, fat, eating this, does not make me fat, okay? If it did, I would be fat, okay? I'm 55, full natty. Why is this not making me fat? And you see I'm not skinny. I am not skinny, okay? I don't have that paper thin skin. I don't have that gaunt look where, you know, women who are just like not eating and then they're like trying to be like nutrition consultants. I'm not calling out anybody, but it may sound like I am, but there's a lot of people who are in this fitness world or nutritional world, and they're so thin, and the only time that somebody's going to be really thin is if they're not eating. So how the frack, how am I not thin but have low body fat, I still have abs, how the frack if I'm eating this? Fat, people, does not make you fat. I need to do a whole video on how fat does not make you fat. Your hormones are making you fat. Your inflamed body is making you fat. Your stress, your lack of sleep, your exposure to toxins and chemicals and pesticides on foods and you know relationship stress or job stress, or over exercising. These are the reasons why you guys are getting fat. Fat does not make you fat. Fat does not incite insulin. Carbs do. Carbs make insulin, which is a hormone, which when your blood sugar is too high, insulin has to go higher and then puts it in your fat cells and it turns into triglycerides and then you become fat. That's not how it works. So fat does not make you fat. This makes you lose weight if it's done right. And that's by getting to a state of ketosis. And that's why I keep showing this crap and showing this crap to show you how to get lean by becoming ketotic. Okay? So I'm not yelling at anybody too. I'm just that type of personality. I get all dramatic in my videos. But fat does not make you fat if you're insulin sensitive. Fat does not make you fat if your A1C is balanced. Fat does not make you fat if your fasted glucose is regulated. Fat does not make you fat if you sleep well and if you exercise. Fat makes you fat when your blood sugar is high and your insulin is high and your body takes everything in your bloodstream and stores it as fat. Fat does not make you fat. Go read Gary Taubes' book. Okay, let's see. What is meat broth and what? No, don't drink. Just don't bother with the meat broth anymore. It's got oxalates in it and glutamate. Some people are fine on it. If you want collagen, eat oxtail, chicken feet, okay? Or eat the marrow from, bake the marrow. Have baked marrow. Have inflammatory migraines every day with high blood sugar. Yep. And I take electrolytes. What do you mean you take? If you're taking an electrolyte powder, it's probably garbage. And eat high fat and have almost zero carbs, and I have a good amount of meat. I don't know what that means. I hope you're not taking some electrolyte powdered garbage nastiness made in a laboratory. Okay. Or in a factory more so. Now the big talk in the high fat, moderate protein groups is fast. No, it's not that. This has been around for a long time where people are like eating a bunch of fat. I assume that you're saying eat a bunch of fat too fast. Oh, Brooke. Hey, Brooke. Just suggested eating more fat like butter to two carnivore ladies on a live on IG today. They were not that enthused. I mentioned your name. Oh, you did. Thank you, Brooke. Well, people don't know. Like, to be honest, I think that I'm a pretty fair, I don't like to use myself as an example, but you can see that I'm 55, okay? I'm not younger. I'm 55. And for me to have the fat is in the this is where the fat is. You see, that's why you don't see the wrinkles and the crepey skin and all this kind of stuff. Because I'm eating so much fat. My dermis layers are just bathed in nice fat, right? Fat is so good for all the cell linings. People are just under-eating fat. And if you under-eat fat, what's going to happen? Are you going to burn fat? No. Because the body's like, well, why am I going to give up this important macronutrient that I can use if I'm starving to death? Why would I? Ooh, I could feel the temperature dropping because it's supposed to be in the 30s tonight. Weird weather here. Why would people who are, you got to look at people who are in the fitness world. They got paper thin skin. They look like they're 110. They're crepey. They're gaunt around the eyes. This guy is following me on Instagram, and I'm like, dude, you are under eating, bro. And guys who in the fitness world, they get upset about being paper thin. I love not being paper thin, low body fat, because I want my skin to have fat in it. I want that fat. That's the youth, right? The lack of gluconeogenesis and to be ketotic. This is what we want. I don't want to be paper thin lean. It will age you 5,000%. Let me see. Is the PUFA in meat as toxic as those in seed oils? Oh, no, not at all. Because seed oils rancidify so fast. Not at all. With the polyunsaturated fats, the PUFAs, they can actually be good for you in small amounts, and that's when they're good for you, is when they're in meats. Now, when you take chicken fat and you're just cooking it and you're having high amounts of omega-3s 6 every day, that's not good. That can be inflammatory. I had 2 strokes, and at the surgeon at my appointment offered me a Snickers bar. Oh, you cannot make this stuff up. Suddenly talk the high fat, moderate protein groups. Oh, I read that. This is so stupid. Oh, I'm trying to get iodine. Just get it from the sea. What do you think of seaweed snacks? That's fine. I prefer oyster extract in capsules. What are your suggestions if you have no gallbladder? Okay, a cleanse, TUDCA, lipase, taurine, glycine, oxbile, maybe betaine HCl, perhaps. I do carnivores for 2 weeks once a year for healing purposes. Is that too much? No, that's fine. That's when it's good. Thanks for the info. I'm going to try it. I have chronic dehydration electrolytes, hoping to get my hormones back. Yeah, so if you're having chronic hormonal issues and your body's not absorbing magnesium, for example, it's going to jack up your hormones. I hear horses. I'm sorry. I'm in there. You know what it's like to live with animals that are like sort of wild because they live outside, but you're living in their pasture. I had to put up a fence around my front door, like a little gate, because my horse was like thunk, thunk, thunk on my front door. And I was like, this is what happens when you feed your horses carrots from your front door. I have about 1.5 avocados, need potassium as blood tests show I'm low. The rest of the carbs I have from meat. Sometimes I might get close to 25 gram carbs. Oh, don't even count that. Oh, no. The carbs from meat, or the carbs from avocado, fat and fiber slows down the rate at which the carbohydrate hits the blood into glucose. Doesn't matter. And meat, you have to break down amino acids to get to the small amount of carbohydrate in there. So, no. We got 162 people in the house and only 81 likes. Don't forget to like up the stream, guys. I never checked. I never have. I never will. But I know that it helps the YouTube algorithm. And you start by clicking in the chat box and it'll pop you out. And then click the thumbs. He's asking about Fat Fast, Dave Asprey's new thing. Fat Fast has been around for years, so maybe that's his new thing. And Dave Asprey, he says he's a biohacker. Dude said he's been on testosterone. He's gotten the hair transplant. He's done everything to stay young. You know, smart guy. God bless him. Okay. But I'm not going by what Dave Asprey says. I never have, and I never will. It helps a lot to see the visual of the tablespoon of the butter on the plate. Oh, good. That's good. That's why I'm doing this semi-quick video. Statin drugs, their effect on a good or bad cholesterol. If somebody tries to give you cholesterol medication, run and report them. Run with a cross and some garlic. Run. Run, Forrest. Okay? Do not get on a statin. If I eat this, right? And then I go get a cholesterol check the next day, my cholesterol is going to be skyrocketed high because I'm having, well, this is monounsaturated. If it's butter, sorry, if I had butter, then we're going to have high cholesterol. That's what we want. It's not cholesterol that's the problem. It's the low density lipoprotein, and that's not even protein problem. It's when it's been broken down to small sticky sizes, and there's only 3 labs in the US that test your very low density lipoproteins. So when doctors say, oh my God, your numbers, your LDLs are high, that could be actually a good thing if they're buoyant and they're big bouncing in your bloodstream because they work as taxi cabs and Ubers for cholesterol, which is an antioxidant. Why I have a... Wait. A what? That came with the RV when I bought. Somebody asked me what happened to my freezer door. What? My refrigerator door? A guitar metal sticker? It's not a sticker. It's not a sticker. And that just came with the RV camper when I bought it. Michael, if you have to know. Suddenly the talk. Okay, read that. Makes sense. Yes, but I feel like grabbing a bag of chips, so I'm going to get me some veggies instead. No, if you want a bag of chips, grab some pork rinds. Grab some of Aurelius's carnivore chips. They're freaking divine. He makes the best ones. I'm sorry. What does he call it? What's his business called? Aurelius. Those liver chips are divine. Divine. Grab some chicken skin chips, but don't go for the vegetables for like a snack. Suddenly the talk. I already read this, didn't I? Why does it keep flipping back? Yes, I'm in the Smithsonian Institute. I'm gonna do a whole video of it. Yes, I'm one of the first pro, like, I'm not the one of, I am the very first black chick pro female skateboarder in the history of the sport. So that didn't get me into the Smithsonian Institute, right? What got me in was they were just interviewing me for a book that they're putting out. And they were like, the woman was like, oh my God, your story is insane. Because I got some crazy stories from being a pro skater. And the woman was like, no. We're going to put you in the book. We're going to put you in the book. Don't worry about it. But we're going to put you in the museum. So you are like, you must be in this museum. So I'm immortalized in the biggest museum in the world forever and ever. But I'm going to do a legit video on it. So I was like in Texas and I was like, Mom, I was like, she has stuff in the attic. I was like, we got to find old skateboards and shoes and stuff that they can put in this museum. And she couldn't find it. So I actually had to fly to Tennessee when I was in Texas and find this stuff and then send it off. That was an incredible thing. So yes, I'm in the Smithsonian Institute. You know, Amish guy, take care of those horses. No, I already did find out Amish. What? No, you got to go to them. Okay, I don't even have a horse trailer. So I did their feet, and I did a pretty good job. Now, there is another guy who does, he's a farrier, and he does come to you, but he's booked. I'm not, when farriers have you as regulars, they come every month or every 6 weeks. But I know an Amish guy. He's the guy I bought the shed from. He also is a farrier. I was like, would you come out to me? He's like, no. I was like, okay. So I did it myself. I've done it myself before. It's just like, to do a really good job, my back starts hurting like crazy because, of course, I used to be a pro skater. So it like, bam, 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 bam. And so I'm bending over like that. My back starts killing me. So I called my electrician friend and I said, dude, help me, especially with Luca, because Luca is my little pony and he's still not used to having. Now, Thunder's easy. My big horse is like, and he literally makes this face like, and he goes, he knows that I'm like, I'm not a pro at it. He knows that I'm like struggling, and I'm like rasping his hoof down, and I'm like, ugh, oh my back. And so he's so patient, but the little one, oh my god, he was a pain in the butt. I prefer pork belly also, and my kids do also, obviously, awesome. I don't pay lots of attention, but since November, I polished off 1,000 pounds of beef and 200 in a side pork bacon, lots of fat. Should figure it out. Yeah, that's freaking awesome. I still like that. My butcher's like, call me, I'll give you quarter pig, quarter cow. So I'm about to buy it. Right now, you guys, I am set for the world falling apart. I got 400 pounds of propane today. What? 400 pounds. I'm so stoked. Right? So 400 pounds of propane. And then I'm having a well built here. And then I'm going to fill my freezer. So if there's no food, I'll be like, if there's no water, I'll be like, I'll be chilling. I don't have heat. I have heat, and I won't have electric bill that'll go up because I'll have propane. I'm really excited. How long can one take food enzymes? Okay, so enzymes should really be taking no longer than 6 weeks. When you start taking digestive enzymes for too long, of course, your own natural production of protease or lipase or even some of the enzymes that you need for histamine, they become downregulated. So we got to really be careful to not take antihistamines, not take digestive enzymes for too long, because you can wreck your own natural process of making these enzymes. You know, we're making them in our pancreas and in our intestine and in our, and then we're releasing things through the stomach and stomach acid. Suddenly the talk, why does this you keep saying that? What is your opinion on these fats? High fat, moderate protein groups all say fat fast. No. You can fat fast all you want where you're just eating fat, but we need protein, and we already saw what happened with people's gallbladders. You can't do a fat fast. Gallbladders, fat does not give you a gallbladder problem, but an underlying gallbladder issue will exacerbate the issue and like cause a huge problem if you don't suss out the cholesterol backed up into your gallbladder. Calories are not important at all. It's your hormones. If your hormones don't know what to deal with the food you're eating, it doesn't matter what the calories are. So if you've got high insulin, right, and if you have a high insulin and your thyroid hormone is low, you're going to get fat no matter what. I don't care if you eat like 1 orange a day, you're going to get fat. I've had a total hysterectomy and synthetic hormone. Oh, no. Pamela, I really try to get women off these synthetic hormones. I don't even know why you're not on HRTs, and even HRTs I don't even like, and I hope you're not taking testosterone, because that's really bad for women. The goal is not to be on hormonal replacements. The goal is to get your adrenal system to take over and produce just enough sex hormone to get you where you need to be at. I don't know what TDDT is, so I can't answer that question. What is glycine? And what is it? Methionine ratio? I have no idea what it is. So new to your channel, I have been watching older videos. Oh, yikes. Of you do not use. No. Don't go back and look at videos that long ago. There's no point. Hell no, they got oxalates. People are having histamine reactions to them, and I was like, oh, I didn't know. So no more collagen powder. Statins are horrible. Like I said, do not. Question, what is the best electrolytes for a low budget? Very easy. Avocado-free potassium. Meat broth for potassium. Oyster extract for potassium. Salt from salt, right? lake beds, sea salt, Himalayan salt, if it doesn't have metal chips in it. Water. Oh, supplemental magnesium. Can't get away from it, but it's not expensive. Glycinate. Hi, Sheree. I'm feeling so bloated and heavy, but I am not eating any type of dairy or cheese. Could this be the electrolytes or hormones being off? Okay, bloated. Sheree, what are you eating? You gotta tell me what you're eating. You're supposed to be doing food logs. Food logs, testing, rotation, and figuring it out. I think you're on my course page, right? So you can ask me there and we can nail it down more. Let's see, what is your ethnic background, baby? Michael, call me baby. Ew. You have some pretty hair and good skin tone. You look maybe half black and half Asian. I'm a mixture of a bunch of stuff. But I just call myself black to make it very simple. Because black is not an ethnic group. It's a color. I've been taking potassium citrate and feeling better about 1,000 milligrams. That's too high. A day? Twice-ish a day. Okay. Milas per who? If you keep taking 1,000 milligrams or even 2, you are going to damage your freaking kidneys. Do not do that. You're not supposed to go higher than 400 milligrams. Iodine drops is potassium iodide, toxic, poison, garbage. Get it from the sea. Get some oyster extract or some kelp, seaweed. Hey, Ann369. Thank you for liking up the stream. I'm getting dizzy a lot. You had told me to up my fat, electrolytes, and water for my hemorrhoids, and it helped. My hemorrhoids, and now I'm just getting dizzy. Do you think I need to eat? Okay. If you're getting dizzy, there's a couple reasons that will make you dizzy. Number 1, low blood pressure, electrolyte issue. Number 2, hypoglycemia. Number 3, histamine. So I don't know which one that could be without talking to you more directly. And somebody donated a 10. I don't even know who it is. I got to go back and check. Thank you for donating to Super Chat. Thank you so much. And can you give your stance on omega-3 to omega-6 balancing? You eat a lot of pork. I enjoy pork. Pork has more omegas. It does not. People keep thinking that pork is high in omega-6. It's not. It's a monounsaturated fat. You're fine. You're fine to eat chicken. Okay. Let me answer this. MV. Okay. Pork is not high in omega-6. Okay. Number 1. Who lives the longest on this planet? Who are the Centaurians? The Okinawans. Where do they live? In Japan. What's the primary meat that they eat? Pork. So just stop being scared. And they eat a ton of pork and chicken. Just don't worry about that stuff. We're getting too much in the weeds. And I know that I'm the strict keto person, but that's way too much in the weeds. Now I can see, okay, my HDL was 126 triglycerides, 53, 223. Doctor wants to put me, oh my God. Rhonda, please run. First of all, don't look at these numbers. You want to look at your calcium score for heart disease, and you want to look at your blood pressure. Otherwise, like, your triglycerides are low. Your HDLs are good. Like, don't listen to these people. Anita says, Smithsonian Institute Museum. Woohoo! Way to go, Stephanie. I love your stories. Thank you. I got a lot of Steph stories. That's what got me into the museum. So I thought of putting together a Steph story time, because I've got stories of everything. Like crazy things happening to me as a pro skater, crazy things happening to me as a keto guru, crazy things happening from leaving California and the whole nonsense flip of the worldness stuff. And I'm going to put it in story form. So I've been very influenced by a channel on YouTube called Mr. Ballin. And he does stories, and I'm going to do the same thing, but in story form. And I'm going to use old pictures and video to show some of these experiences because I just want to expand this channel. Good evening. For a 300-pound guy who's 90 grams of protein, cool. Yeah, it doesn't matter that you're 300 pounds unless you're literally like 6'7" and like, 18% body fat. Then yeah, 95 grams of protein is fine. Okay, long delay for questions. Thanks. Disregard the repeat questions. Okay, that is. Finally got my glucose meter 2 hours after eating at 730. Ooh, your blood sugar's too high. Fino, your blood sugar's really high. 2 hours after eating. What if the pancreas has shut down for type 1 diabetics for enzyme? Oh, then oh, that's right, that's you, Brooke. I would go off and on digestive enzymes. I wouldn't just stay on them all the time. Like on a month, off a month, or on 2 months, off 1 month. That's good. I live in a camper also in MN, Michigan? No. Montana? No. Nonetheless, I just filled up my tank and prepaid for another tank. Got to rack leaves and pile them up around my camper. Yeah, it's kind of cool. Like, it gets a lot colder in this RV when I got a little tiny space heater. I was like 1,000-watt space heater on me, right? It's like literally on me. But as soon as I shut off that biatch, I feel like it's getting cold. I love low thyroid. You have low thyroid, you're hypothyroid. Should I do keto or carnivore, and what foods should I start with? I would do keto, omnivore, and it's too general a question. I think I would go back to my video catalog because you've got the cruciferous family, brassica family, cruciferous vegetables like your broccoli and cauliflower, cabbage, cooked, not raw, and fatty meats, and fat, added fat like butter, lard, tallow. That's the real simple of it. Oh, it was Rhonda. Thank you for the donation. Thank you so much at the super chat. I have a statement in the queue. Love your channel. Oh, okay. Dude, don't call a woman baby. You don't know her. And asking her racial background is gross. It doesn't matter because people have asked me what my ethnic background is. I actually don't have a problem with that. I actually don't have a problem with any question, to be honest. I don't get triggered. It's just awkward sometimes. I don't have a problem. It's like that whole color thing of color. Like my whole life, people have asked me, my father left when I was very young. And so I get my mixed looks from my father. And he left when I was 2.5. And I've had no contact with him. And so people always ask me what my ethnic background is, and I just say I'm black, because black people have a hard time saying they're black. They're like, I'm Turkey, I'm French, and I'm like, I don't care. I'm just Stephanie, and I'm a black girl. That's how I see myself and perceived, and are perceived as a black girl. And that's why. But I don't care that you ask those questions. I don't care. Calling somebody baby, it's kind of like, it's so cheesy though. Like, yo, when men talk to me that way, I'm like, ew, like, it's weird for me, not for that person. Clearly, I need to drink water. What are your thoughts on how some carnivore people say you now need carbs when you do anaerobic stuff like jiu-jitsu? It's embarrassing. Michael, can you be high performance still low? Hello. The problem is with you have to be highly adapted. Now, doing something like jiu-jitsu is not running. It's not sprinting 100 miles an hour. So you should have no problem with jiu-jitsu. I have no problem skateboarding. I have no problem working out, being in ketosis for 15 freaking years. At all. No strength ever changed. Ever. And I'll tell you right now, I'll go to the gym and I'll outlast all those dudes because they're on caffeine. And number two, their glycogen storages run out and mine don't, because when their glycogen runs out of the muscle, my ketones are like, what? I can keep going. I can keep training for hours when these guys burn out. So no, that is not true. But that's a great question. Hi, Steph. I'm 34 from Australia. Wanted to get on the carnivore lifestyle, but need some tips and get into keto lifestyle. Do be an omnivore, which is an avocado, carnivore for the potassium and fiber. I don't have any health problems, and I used to do keto. Thanks. Why do you want to do carnivore then? Like, why would anybody want to do carnivore and risk developing loose stool or constipation or electrolyte issues or too much protein through the kidneys, lack of bacteria, because people eat too many mono foods? Oh, Fino's like, Mr. Ballin's awesome. Yeah, he's awesome. So I'm going to do something very similar as Mr. Ballin, because I was like, that's so cool. I'm going to do the same thing, because I got a shite load of stories that are like when I went to Africa, and the first time I went to Africa, oh, when I went to Egypt for the first time, or the first time I went to Brazil. And like, I'm not going to these countries like a tourist. Like, I stayed with some girl in Cairo I didn't know, and then I stayed with a woman in Rio, and I had a boyfriend at the time, and we got dropped off at a street corner, right? We took the bus from the airport. I'll never forget that bus ride. And the bus let us off, and I was like, I kept hearing that you'd get robbed in Brazil, and we had been traveling all through South America, and I had so much silver. And because you guys know I love silver jewelry. What? Like, I had so much silver and so much jewelry and so many things. And like, we had like 3 big, massive duffel bags. And I was like, oh my God, we're going to get robbed. We're going to get robbed. We're going to get robbed. I was like, hurry up and get here. Oh my God. Like, we have so much money and stuff on us. And we're like on a street corner in freaking Rio. God, memories are coming back from that trip. That was a friggin' trip. Or my first time to Cuba, and they like kept speaking Spanish to me, and they could not understand why I didn't speak Spanish. They're like, are you stupid? Are you tonta? Huh? You tonta? Like, you cannot speak Spanish? What's wrong with you? Because they see me as a Cubanita girl. They could not, like, I've got so many stories. Or like the first time I went to Africa and I went to Tanzania, and I took a bus up to Arusha, and I've got some heartbreaking stories and amazing stories. So I react to magnesium pills, so can I use magnesium chloride? Yes, you can. If you're really, really reacting to every single kind of magnesium, then you're gonna have to use chloride spray or cream. Yeah, that is high, and find some seafood or some organ meats that have magnesium and seafood. I've noticed there's a high blood sugar, and I'm not sure why. It could be histamine, because you didn't sleep. You just got to do it again and check. Burger patty, steak, pork fat, and your blood sugar could have been high before. I don't know. I don't know. Yes. Oh my goodness, Sharich, how you are always so kind with the donations. Thank you so much. Love catching your lives for Thunder and Luca. And Lulu. So you guys, I never e-bag. I have never e-bagged. You can go back to all my videos over time. I've never been like affiliate programs or e-bagging, or go to my, was it called the other website people go to see the, I've never done it. But now I'm doing it for my fur babies, right? Nobody understands that I moved all the way to Tennessee. And I said this to the electrician. I grabbed my horse, and I grabbed him around the head like this. And I said, I am here only for that horse. I love him so much. I love my horse. I'm obsessed. I love the other 2 as well. But Thunder is friggin', I gotta show you guys Thunder. Thank you so much, Shree. Love spending my Friday on Saturday nights with you. Thank you, Danielle. Have you ever met Sky and Ocean? I don't even know who the Ocean. You remind me of Sky, of me remind me of Sky. Who's Sky? Now there was a black girl skateboarder named Osha, or her name was Osha. Are you making a joke? Or is that real? Oh, Sheree, that is so sweet. Isn't that sweet, Heather? Like, I will take donations all day for my horses. All day. For their safety. I don't give a crap about me. I love my horse. I freaking love my horse. I'm sorry. I've had different animals through my life, but that horse, that one horse, I'm obsessed. That's why I felt guilty having to put a gate around my front door, because he knocks on my door and he takes with his lip and he tries to open the door. And I'm like, no, Thunder, no. That's another story, is Thunder. He was sold to me illegally by a freaking crackhead. He was sold to me, and the guy was just trying to sell him for cash. And I was walking my horse down the street, right? I just bought him, and this woman goes, that's my horse. And I was like, to say what? She's like, that's my horse. No, he's not. That's my horse now. That's a longer story. She like left Thunder with an abusive guy and left him at some place for 4 years, and the guy would like beat the crap out of him. So I was like, well, why did you leave him with that guy? She goes, I didn't know he was abusing him. And I was like, well, he's mine now, so I feel no guilt at all. Oh, look, this is me on my Instagram. My Instagram is Stephanie Ketogenic, you guys. Today was perfect. Not humid, not hot, crisp and beautiful. It was fun to be with the animals. But I'm about to go live right now on YouTube and talk about keto and carnivore macros. Wait, where's my horse? I don't care, people on the replay. Get over it. I'm going to show them real quick. There's my donkey. That's my donkey, Lulu. And this is the electrician riding Thunder. I thought Thunder was going to toss him. That's my electrician. I'm surprised Thunder didn't toss him. Whoa, whoa, whoa. That's my horse. That's my baby right there. Check this out, guys. Good boy. I love that horse. If you guys didn't know, I love that horse. And I never had a horse before. And I lived in Hollywood, California with that horse. Well, not with him. He lives with me now. What dude asked, or is healing calling you baby? It comes off. Okay. Fetishing nastiness. I feel sorry for the guy. He didn't mean it to be like that. Yeah, Michael, he meant it all. And I took it well, Michael. Just my opinion, of course. Miss LA, you're funny laughing. I'm laughing. Oh, thank you. Aw, thank you for the donation. All donations go to my fur babies. Thank you so much. I really appreciate that. And she donated $20. Thank you, Cherie. And forgot somebody donated 10. I already forgot who donated it. Why does no one talk about the physiological effects of growing from a big plate of food to 4 ounces of food on your plate and some fat? Kwame, all right, Kwame, let's talk, okay? I think Kwame is a bit confused. First of all, Kwame, when you go to a restaurant, they give you 4 ounces of meat. You don't sit and think, I'm starving on 4 ounces of meat. You don't. Because normally with those 4 ounces, you have pasta or beans or freaking potatoes or curly fries. So you don't even blink that you're eating 4 ounces of meat. What you also must understand, Kwame, is that you're putting at least 3, 4, 5, 6 tablespoons of fat on the plate. You don't need nothing else. That's what's amazing about these nutritional lifestyles. That's what's amazing about being in ketosis. I see you're not a fan of fasting. Oh, fasting's just stupid. It's a lie. It's a lie that people bought into it. And they don't know if they're losing muscle. They don't know if they're losing water, but they'll lose weight on a scale. They're like, oh my God, amazing. They become addicted to it. And then all of a sudden their body goes into gluconeogenesis. It totally is jacking up. They become dehydrated, and they're constantly in this slathering in cortisol. And people over time start having issues with hypoglycemia and their thyroid and their testosterone drops and all kinds of stupid stuff from fasting. Burn through their skin and their collagen. They get crepey skin. A few hours. See, okay. So, do you advocate for 3 meals a day? Yes. Or should you eat every few hours? You should eat every few hours if you have any type of hypoglycemia. Okay. If you don't, 3 meals a day is fine. If I told my stories from my past, I could be considered evidence. That's cool. High school years, finding myself in Mexican cartel. Oh my God. Remember those parties? Oh my God. Yeah, I bet. No, I'm not just saying that my life is more interesting than somebody else's. But I've just got some funny stories to tell and some interesting ones. People on carnivore diet say their pain is gone, so they will stay on it. Well, their pain is gone because whatever they were eating is now not agitating them, but then they have a rebound, right? Now they can only, it's like Michaela Peterson went from beef to lamb, and then all of a sudden the microbiome starts to become destroyed, because when you don't eat a diversity of food, the microbiome starts to go like rant, and bad bacteria starts to grow, and you don't have enough balanced flora in your gut, and then you start to develop secondary and third problems when you stay on carnivore too long. It's just how it is. I lived in Ethiopia. Oh my God. Now people are like, they're completely challenging me on their stories. Djibouti. I heard about Djibouti like two days ago. For almost a year, my gut microbiome has never been the same. Been on carnivore 5 months because autoimmune disease, going to add some avocado. Wow. You were in Ethiopia. See, now I've never been to Ethiopia. The most Southeast Africa I ever went was Tanzania. So that's pretty cool. Currently learning Spanish and Portuguese, trying to get smarter, right? That's so cool, Courtney. Tyree Jones. Stephanie, what's your go-to magnesium? I don't have a magnesium brand, that's for sure, because they keep changing ingredients. So you got to do the Amazon review or the review online. Hi, Stephanie. Have you just purchased a blood ketone meter? When is the best time Mason, always test your ketones fasted in the morning on an empty stomach, because if you eat fat, that's what's going to present on the glucometer, and that's subjective. We want to see when our body starts to access our own body fat, and that's why you sleep. So fasted in the morning. Also use some good balsamic vinegar for flavor, but just like a teaspoon occasionally. Balsamic that you make with apple cider vinegar instead of white wine vinegar, which is very histamine laden, as I must say. Sky and Ocean are brother and sister. Sky is a young skateboarder. Oh, well, I didn't know. I'm one of those like dinosaur old school ones. I mean, y'all, look, I'm not following what's going on today. I'm of the whole Tony Hawk camp. Yeah, the Christian of Soy, Steve Stedham, and Steve Caballero world. Never been sorry about Thunder or the babies. They are so precious. Love them and love seeing them. Ah, thank you, Anita. Does the body need to heal on this way of eating first before it will start releasing body fat? Yes, that's a good question. If your body's inflamed, if your thyroid's low, if your gut's all jacked, it's going to be really hard because your body cranks out. But your body goes in the fight or flight mode, and blood sugar spikes when you have a high CRP with C-reactive protein, when your inflammatory markers are high. At this point, Steph, we all love your fur babies. Thank you, JC Hope. Hey Steph, so should you do carnivore versus keto? Keto, always. Omnivore. I would do carnivore for the short term to get the inflammation down. It's like fasting one time for 24 hours. Like if you were just that freaking like, I'm dying, and then you fast for 24 hours and you don't keep fasting. Same thing with carnivore. You do it for a couple of months and then you stop once you get your inflammation down. Go to keto omnivore to continue your balancing of your body and your microbiome and your blood sugar and get into ketosis. Thunder is medicine. Yeah, Thunder's a medicine hat horse. He's a Native American horse. That's why he's got that coloring. Medicine hats are like, they believe that in battle, you would always be safe on their back. And when I was in California, this is what pushed me out of California. I got sick of it. A woman hit Thunder and I when on a woman in her car hit us and buckled his knees and hit him a second time, and people were crying and screaming. They thought that he was a dead horse, and she had no driver's license and no insurance. And then the popo did not write a report because they didn't have any cash to do it. That's what happens when you believe in like Slack lives matter. Thunder loves you right back. Oh my God, he loves me so much. Like other people be like try to get his attention. He just stares at me. The electrician's like, he just stares at you. He just follows you and he stares at you. And he's like, he will not look at me. He will look at other people, but he's like obsessed with me. So he's a big horse. So he's like a big, massive puppy dog. What time do I have breakfast? As soon as I get out of bed. So I've been getting out of bed between 6 and 6:45. So like as soon as possible. That's to balance cortisol and to get your body, the way the hypothalamus, pituitary, adrenal system reacts is that it can sense when there's food coming in. So it will balance the amount of cortisol instead of over kicking out cortisol and then crashing later. You have a unique style that it is great to see the other YouTube people, but you have something that makes people want to listen to you. Great. Hold on, Michael. So Michael called me baby, but I don't really even care because you know why? He just said the coolest thing that is going to make me feel so good when I go to bed tonight and it's 30 degrees outside my camper. Although I am connected to propane now, but he said, thanks for all the tips and answering questions. You have a unique style that is great. I see the other YouTube people, but you have a something that makes people want to listen to you. Great job. And that makes me feel really good because it's so much easier, you guys, to be what people want you to be. You know, I've talked to a few gurus, not recently, but like in the recent past, and I'm like, why don't you act this way on camera? I don't want to do that. I don't want to turn anybody off. And I was like, okay, this is who I am, but it's in an unnatural environment of who I am. So I appreciate the compliment. I do. It's a nice feeling because I'm just trying my best, and that's all you can do. I'll take less potassium. You mean a lot to me right now. Oh, thank you, Miles. Ethiopia is beautiful, very mountainous. Addis Ababa. Addis Ababa. The whole story of Somalia and Ethiopia and Eritrea, that whole part of the world is so fascinating. I'd love to go there one day. A little scared, but I'm really stoked that are you Ethiopian? I guess as a black girl, I shouldn't be afraid to go there. Why after Michaela admitted she drank bourbon? Oh. What? Why after Michaela admitted she drank bourbon, other carnivores said that bourbon was the guilty pleasure? For me, bourbon sounds gross. Thank you, Brooke, for that. I didn't know that. I did not know that. I'm bummed, Stephanie. You breezed past my question. I just didn't see it. I didn't see it. I'm just tired. Today's been a huge day. It's a huge day. A huge friggin' day. Oh my God. I had to go fill this 100-pound propane tank. And then my other car, on my Mini Cooper, there's an oil leak, so I had to go to this auto shop so they could find a mechanic that can work on a German car. And then my electrician helped me with the feet, which killed my back, which then I had to clean out their water trough, and it was just this thick of slime. And then, what's today? Today's Saturday. What else did and I just cleaned up a lot. So I'm kind of tired. And then we walked, then I rode him, then I trained him, and then we walked the whole property. I'm a bike courier. What should I eat for more energy? Thanks. I don't know what diet you're doing, so I can't tell. If you're doing carbs, I'll tell you to eat carbs. If you're not, Gleaming the Cube is an old amazing movie, yet skateboard movie. That Tony Hawk are what comes to my mind when you talk about skating. Yes, Tony Hawk. Yes. No, oh, thank you, Boom Chicka Boomer. Thank you so much. Finally said your name right. Thank you for donating to the super chat. Do you ever eat Oreos? No, I used to. I never even liked them when I ate carbs. No, I don't eat junk anymore, hon. It's gone. Thanks for all your time and info. I feel that certain animals can be sent to us like spirit guides, garden angels. You know, Boom Chicka Boomer, I think that's kind of true, because if I didn't have a horse, I wouldn't have moved to Texas. And I wouldn't have hated Texas so much to then move to... I had a consultation with a woman a couple days ago who's from Texas. And she was like, why, sort of like, why, like, I'm sorry that you didn't like Texas. And I said, well, let me tell you about the day that I arrived in Texas. And let me tell you a couple of things that happened while I was in Texas. And she goes, oh my God. She's like, no wonder you hate it. So that's going to be a part of Steph's story time. No to Lugo's iodine. That's potassium iodide. Toxic. F, strict carnivore. Exactly. How do you balance out my hormones? Oh my God, Wendy's too long. It's late in Tennessee. Yeah, I don't even know what time it is. Time for me to get off. Almost 9:30. Do you have any videos on healthy keto diet? Some meals? Yeah, I do. I've got almost 2,000 videos. What about, tailing a teaspoon of butter first thing in the morning? Yes, you can do that. Michael, it's true. She's genuine and knowledgeable. Thank you, Anita. I enjoy you, or I wouldn't be here. Thank you. What a big day, I know. Thank you, Courtney, for another donation. Energy! Woo! Energy. My brain is on fire. I'm just a little, like, burnt out with all the stuff that I gotta do. Plus all the emails I have to answer online. Everybody who wants a consultation, please go to my website and email me. And I've put people on a list, and this time, this list, I'm getting in everybody. So come tomorrow, I think tomorrow or Monday, I'm going to email everyone and start scheduling people off calendar. But you got to be flexible. Very, very flexible. Because that's the only way I can get you in sooner. Or you're just going to have to wait till the end of November. Because that's how far I'm booked out. I've been going to you guys can join my course page. It's through stephanieperson.com. There you have more access to me. And it's only $15 a month. And I cover all 3 diets. Carbs, omnivore, and carnivore. I've been doing carnivore on OMAD and stopped, but trying to do more of what you recommend. But it's hard to eat 3 meals a day, consume at least 200 grams of fat. How can I eat more? Looks like your stomach acid might have gone down if you got a hard time eating. I need to know, what do you mean? Context is very important. So I just got to keep going. G-rated about an air fryer, and I toss in beef fat trimmings from the local meat store. Yeah, love it. Trying to address several health issues. Pretty sure it's autoimmune stuff. Thyroid, but not verified. Eating lots of more fat. Your consultation calendar is full. Can I get in an appointment? Yes, you can. Just go to my website, stephanieperson.com, and contact me. You have no jowls at all. So funny, at the last stream, somebody said, what's a jowl? Right there. That's a jowl. Right? That's a jowl. When they sag like that. They sag. You can still see, I'm in my 50s. It's your skin snaps back slower than when you're younger. So you can still see the pinch mark. But, which proves I'm in my 50s. But it's not as bad as most people. Like, I still got good collagen. I'm still, like, you still see cheekbones and stuff. It's when everything starts sagging and your bones, actually when you get older, your skull shrinks and then the skin hangs. So y'all who fasting will do that to your bones, your bone marrow, your collagen, and the skin and the dermis layers. Do not fast. Legit. It's called gluconeogenesis. Let me see. How do you feel about cheat meals? No, garbage. Why would I cheat? I'm so grateful for this amazing body. Why would I destroy it by cheating on garbage? Heck no! No way! That would be just like torture for me, right? To eat garbage, I'll be like, uh. Okay, so Dr. Berg, a lot of you guys know the story about Dr. Berg. I used to make fun of him, talk crap about him. And he contacted me a couple years ago. This is like around Sheree Rona. Yeah. He contacted me and he was like, oh, I want you to be a part of my, like, in-person, like, at an event on the East Coast in, like, Maryland. And I was like, I looked at the email, I was like, it's kind of like the same thing that happened with Dr. Oz. I was like, and when every time this happens, I got a, the people from Victory Belt wanted to give me a book deal. I was like, I looked at the email again. I was like, this is not him. I said, is this you? He goes, of course it's me. And I go, instantly, I said, can we talk by phone? And he was like, okay, I'm free in like 2 hours. I was like, so we talked, and I sat in my car and we talked for over 2 hours, almost 3 hours on the phone. And I apologized for making fun of him. I used to call him Dr. Dingleberry. And I said, I'm really sorry. And I said, I feel really embarrassed. I said, thank you so much for wanting to invite me to this. He goes, well, why did you talk about me? And I said, because I was acting like an idiot. And I don't agree on your philosophy, but I've learned a lesson right now. I said, I'll never do this. And I said, I wanted to apologize publicly if you would be so kind to be a part of my live stream where I interview you online. And I did, and I wasn't, COVID stopped the thing for us, that story stopped me from being able to go to that event. But, so it was online, and it's so funny, because the whole thing was fasting. I go, I'm not doing fasting. I'll just talk about macros, like today. No, I talked about electrolytes, that's what I did. Put an electrolyte presentation together. Oh my god, that was so stressful. Ugh. And then we spoke again. He was like, you can come visit me. I've got wild horses. But he's a very nice guy. But I think that Dr. Eric Berg was the best when he did the adrenal body days. Sometimes the guy is so spot on with his tips. But it's when the only thing I don't like, this is the only thing I don't like, fasting and keto talk. Everything else I think is amazing. But those two, dietary stuff, especially in the keto sphere, that's what I think about him. I think he's a super sweetheart after getting to know him. If you can tolerate butter, I love eating frozen unsalted Kerrygold. Exactly, delish. I'm going to book after I get coffee out of my life. Hurry up. I had too much milk thistle and messed up my gut. Felt nauseous. Yeah, you probably have a histamine reaction to it. That's the thing. If it's a plant, you got to be careful, even though it's good for the liver, but you got to start off real slow with things if you think you might have a histamine reaction. Ronnie, I thought milk thistle helped the liver and kidneys. It does. You could actually have it help your liver and have a histamine reaction to it. So you got to start off very small. Dr. Berg has a lot of stress because of his kid. I feel bad for him. Yes, he's a Scientologist, and his son outed him, and he's going all over a line, like talking crap about his dad. So clearly there's some beef there. I vomited my stomach acid 2014. I vomited my stomach acids. What does that mean? 2014, I'm not going to get help because I can't eat 3 times a day. Betaine HCl. Get your cortisol down. Okay, guys, now I'm just answering questions. Now it's just getting to be, I'm getting tired. Thanks for, this is the last one? Okay, thank God. But he's really kind, so sorry due to Rona that it got canceled. Oh, the event, yes. If I'm on standby for consultation, how do you contact me? I email everybody. So once you email me, I'm going to email everyone. Just bought 10 bags of pork rinds. Got to find out more ways to get fat. And that's not the way. And be careful. You eat too much pork rinds will be too much protein. Every time I see a guru talk about fasting, I give a thumbs down. I don't think you can anymore. I think YouTube took that away. That's hilarious. I'm so thankful for my health. It's not perfect, but dang, there are so many people that are fracked up. Seriously, CC. I literally had a pancreas attack. Ugh. I know you're busy with your fur babies, but you are literally the only one keeping it real since day one. I mean, it's very arrogant for me to say, well, of course. Oh my God. I'm like, I'm so fabulous. But really, it's not easy being the oddball in this whole guru conversation. I didn't go online to be a guru. It was just like my mom was diagnosed with a glioblastoma, and I put her on a keto diet, and she's still alive. So they gave her less than 1% to survive. And I just wanted to talk about it. I was like, it's just, and that was when YouTube, when like people were like YouTubers. It was like so long ago when I started doing this. And I just never went away, you know. So now I'm a part of like gurus. It's kind of embarrassing, but you know, people are like, oh, help me, you gotta help your mom, help me. And I didn't know anything back then. I used to follow Dr. Berg's keto plan and fasting, but that's a no now. Yes, it's like, it's horrible. And the stories, this is another funny story, is that interview I had with him, everyone was like, ask him about the 9 cups of vegetables. Ask him. And I kept ignoring the question because it was a live Q&A, right? And then I was like, okay, everybody's asking me about the 9 cups of vegetables. He's like, oh. He acted like he didn't know what I was talking about. He's like, oh, I mean, like, everyone's different. I was like, okay, next question. I joined your group on Facebook and I'm just waiting for the request. Yes, I'll accept you today, Anna. It's like more and more people are that's why I say it takes 48 hours to get on the page at the most, because I get so busy. If there's 20 people and I have to put everybody into a spreadsheet, I got to collect your email, then I got to put you in a spreadsheet, and then I let you on the page, and then I give a personal note to everyone. So all of that is like taking up time. Nope, it's still an option. I'm sorry, but anyone who believes in space, what? I don't know what you're talking about. Thank you for being patient, answering my questions. Looking forward to the appointment. Thank you. Whatever the name is, I am an angel. Oh, I'm an angel. Dirt. Rhonda, I'm in my 60s and people say that I don't look my age and that I look much younger. They try to say it because plus black don't crack. I beg to differ. I went to my reunion there, so there were plenty of cracks. Oh my God, Rhonda, you're too funny. I know you're a black girl. Okay, here she says, Rhonda says, I'm in my 60s and people say that I don't look my age, and then, and that I look much younger. They try to say it because plus black don't crack. I beg to differ. I went to my reunion and there were, I can't even read now. There were plenty of cracks. And that is very true. You know, a lot of people who are white skin, white people, think that black doesn't crack. It does crack. It doesn't get the same paper thin lines typically, unless you've had like dramatic weight loss, or, you know, like my mom got chemo and radiation, and I mean, it wrecked her skin. Like, she's got those wrinkles, but we don't get the fine, but you get deep wrinkles, you get saggy jowls, you get puffy around the eyes, you look like an old, you just don't see fine lines. That's not fine lines is not indicative of age, right? Because there's plenty of relatives that I have that look their age, right? They don't have jowls, right? Their skin is hanging off the jaw. They're having diabetes and overweight and crepey skin and all this stuff. They just don't have the fine wrinkles on the face. Used to enjoy the energy videos back in the day. Oh, that's good. I still got energy. Girl, you need a secretary. I know, I need one so bad. Any volunteers want to help out in, what is it? I actually think I'm going to start looking for not secretaries, it's the wrong word, for not moderators, I can't think now. And then they can be sort of coached under me And also I need some for my course group. I need some administration people. So if you want to go there in a part to be like to learn under me, that would be the bartering system if that's what you would want. How does eating high fat food affect estrogen on keto? Um, your sex hormones are made, so if you have low estrogen, it'll help make estrogen. I don't know. The question is kind of weird. You gotta. I mean, it's only amazing for your ovaries and for your adrenals. So it's great to help balance your hormones. Get that progesterone back up. Thanks for all your videos. Binge watch them when I can. Thank you, Rachel. I'm 52, 140 pounds. Want to lose maybe 15 pounds. Any suggestions? No, because I need to know more, and I'm almost done. An assistant, thank you. This is Stephanie, just trying to get to every single person and then get off. Do you use any cream on your face or body? Like shea butter? Since I started following Stephanie's advice, all my face lines disappeared. My skin got smooth. It has a glow to it. My breasts, butt, and calves filled out. Stretch marks seem to be disappeared. Ronnie, no joke. Like, legit, this happened. I'm not even kidding, my people. I'm not. I'm not trying to brag. I'm not. Okay, just a little. Okay? I'm not kidding. Okay? I'm not. Okay? I'm not. 55. I'm not even kidding. I don't know what the frack is going on. I'm like, my mom, this is my mom. My mom was like, your butt. I'm like, because you're like, does my butt look extra round? My mom's like, your butt is popping out of everything. I was like, she's like, what is going on with your butt? I was like, I don't know, honey, but I'll take it. Okay, I will take that stuff. I will take the chunky booty all day. All freaking day. And I'm not even trying to brag, but like, you be like, is that my booty in the mirror? Oh, God. An assistant is more. I do need moderators on my course. And I need assistants. So if anybody wants to be an assistant, contact me through stephanieperson.com. Thank you, Rebecca. All of you all and Stephanie are awesome. Night, hun. Go take care of the sacred horse. I am going to go out there. Face full out too. Would love to learn from you. Have you ever thought about certifying people? Yes. So I do want to do my own certification. I'm trying to get everything done. The person who said I need an assistant is not kidding. I'm exhausted. And my problem is that I will put all my time into my horse or my horses before anything. And it just, like, I don't have time for everything. Like, I just don't. So, yeah, it's been, so I've got all book material. In fact, I've had my course for almost 4 years. I've got files of great information. All that information also will be put into a book. And I'm also going to start with the workout exercise part of it. And lifestyle and DIYs and a bunch of stuff. We'd love to learn from you. Have you ever... Okay, I read that. But, so yes. Like up the stream, Scottsdale. Mom, Kat says, I think your mom is still beautiful. Ah, thank you. She is, but recently, mom's not looking too good since she got the Pokemon dance. Okay, the Pokemon dance in the arm. 1, 2. And it literally jacked her up. And I begged her not to for almost 8 months. But then she caved in because my brother pushed her to do it because they are both dirt. I'm trained like I'm insanely active. Perhaps I am overdoing the salt. Yes, with the potassium. Let me know. I would need to talk to you more to know. I just don't know. Brooke's laughing at me. She's like, heart. She's like, heart for the butt. Yo, mid-50s, 50s. It's like, I'm like, am I in my mid-50s now? What the fuck happened to the time? Shite. What do you recommend for people who are insulin resistant? Oh, that's another full video. Oh my god. If they're simple questions, but if they're not, I gotta go. How about a clone? I know. Nah. Sign me up. I'll be there. Yeah, just go to my website. Anybody who wants to help be an assistant. And I don't mean people who are just like, because I've had so many people just come and go. You know how the world is today. I mean people who are really, really responsible. I need, yeah, I need an assistant for sure. Yes, let me make the world better place and clone Stephanie thousands. Oh, thank you, Cherie. That is so, Cherie, you're so nice. Why? I really appreciate that. I appreciate you. Thank you. You miss LA? Nope. That's the last question. I do not miss LA. You know what? Because I'm not going to answer this, and then I'm going to go. I lived in Hollywood, California. My life was there. If anybody told me that I'd be living in Tennessee, I would laugh. Or that I would even try to live in Texas. Oh my God. And I did that for that horse. I did not do that for me. I would never, I'd be up in like Wyoming if I didn't have a horse. I would go between Wyoming and Florida, legit. And I would do that. That's exactly what I would have done if I didn't have thunder. I would just go between the two states. I'd be a snowbird. Because those are some of my favorite places, Montana, Wyoming, and then down to Florida. But I wouldn't have been in Tennessee. And I went back exactly 1 year ago. Actually, now, today, I was there 1 year ago visiting after leaving Texas for 6 months at that point. And I went back and I was like, it's not the same anymore. After Charade Aronabona, people get triggered when I call it charade. After that, I was pissed. I was like, no, take that off your face. What are you doing? Stop. Don't listen to them. Don't get them out of your head. Don't. And I was so freaked out by how everybody just was like, fell in a line and were like, and they were like just listening to it all. I was getting so upset. It just wasn't the same anymore. It just felt awful. It was awful. Through the whole young people destroying the buildings and marching around the streets, a bunch of white kids. I'm like, this is so stupid. This is so dumb. My neighbor was trying to argue with me with what it was like to be this color, and she's not. She this color. I was like, am I living in the Twilight Zone? This woman's trying to tell me what it's like to be like a black girl. It just was not funny. I was starting to be bored of Los Angeles before this all went down. And then it just kicked it in the hyperdrive. And I got thunder right when this all happened. And I left. I went to Texas because I wanted my horse to be free because he was abused. He was in a small stall with like 2 feet of poop and piss and could never lie down because nobody ever cleaned his freaking stall. And I was like, I want to see my horse free. Now he's free. He's so free now. So no, why would I miss LA? When I went back there, I was like, this is depressing. There's like homeless everywhere. Right? There's freaking diapers on people's faces everywhere. It's not as bad as like last year, but last year I was like, and they're just constantly whining in the airport. Now, some people might get triggered by me saying this, but I'm going to be true to myself. I'm not going to be true to the individual yelling in the comment section. But when I heard them like constantly in rotation, and we will, like at the airport, we will kick you out of here if you don't have this stupid thing, and you're and you get into Ubers, they're like, where is it? Where is the thing? Where is the diaper? Where is the thin menstrual pad that you put on your face? Where is it with the ear straps? Where is it? I was like, oh no, I'm not missing this. The air is so clean here. My land, my 10 acres is absolutely like divine. It's like a little national park. People are so nice here, contrary to the absolute nonsense where they say if you go to a town where there are a lot of white people in the South that you can be treated a certain way. They are so nice to me. So nice. So nice. So nice. Nah, I don't miss LA. What is there to miss? I mean, things like Big Bear and Lake Tahoe and Yosemite, those things. But everything else, I lived in Hollywood. I've been to Hollywood parties. I've been around famous people. I was going out 3 days a week at one point. I've done it. I lived it, and it's nothing but vapid and pathetic. I done been out to parties with the Kardashians and Paris Hilton at the time. I don't care. I got lots of stuff story time about that. Oh God. I forgot that those are stuff story times. Yeah. Yeah. Like, I'll go into it later, but I have a friend, gorgeous Latina, gorgeous. And we started hanging out. And she was the Hollywood connection. Like places you can't go, we could get in. And I did that for years. And I felt as empty as can be. Because I'm a tomboy at heart. And I'm sitting here and I'm getting dressed up to go to these Hollywood events. Bye, Felicia. All right, guys. Thank you so much for today's live stream. And then Cherie says, let's make the world a better place. And you already read that. Thank you, Kevin. Thank you, Cherie. Thank you, everybody, for donating to the super chat. I appreciate you all. I really want to encourage people to live their life. I hung out with my electrician because I don't know anybody here. And I said to him today, we went and grabbed a bite to eat. And I said, what do you want to do in life? He's like, what do you mean? He's got the country. She had to come apart. What do you mean? I said, what do you want in life? He's like, I just done been on a plane last year for the first time. I was like, okay, you make really good money as an electrician. All you do is work. What do you want in your life? And he still was like, what do you mean, what do I want? Everything you do in life is connected to having faith in something. Because if you don't have faith, and I'm not talking about in a religious sense, if you don't believe in something, if you don't strive for something, then there is no purpose to life. And some people never figured that out. Life is not to have things be predictable every single day. If you know what your day is going to look like every day, you've got nothing to strive for. Hope is the word. We all must have something to hope for. Because if you don't have that, and that's what's happened to modern humans, they have no more hope. Everything's too easy. That's why I keep putting challenges in my life that make things difficult. Because when things are difficult, you hope for something better. When I have these consultations and everybody that wants it easy, and I said, it must be difficult. You have nothing to strive for in life. It's the hope in life that makes you a strong person. It's the hope in life that makes you happy. When you go through struggle and you hope for something better. If I had gone from LA straight to Tennessee, I don't think I would appreciate what I have now. But that one little year and a half stop in Texas absolutely demolished me. Not to the point where I didn't have hope, but it literally tried and tested everything at this juncture in life. And every time I'd look at that horse, I said, I promise you, and because there's no man here, right? So I'd say to my horse, and there's no kids. And I'm not of the Smurf land of, having purple hair and don't have kids and be a feminist or something like that, because I'm just Stephanie. But the point of it is that, well, first of all, I always wanted to have children with somebody that it was going to be one and done. I'm going to be with this person forever. I'm not going to raise a kid alone. And that's the reason why I don't have kids. But when I look into the face of my horse, because horses are they're almost like, almost like intuitive. They can almost sense friggin' everything, because horses are very special. My horse is almost 1,400 pounds of a machine. If he was running and you didn't move, you'd be dead. Like, he's going to knock you down and smash you like the little teeny tiny ant that you are. But if something scares that horse, they're like big squirrels. They listen for any type of danger because they're prey animals. Like, they're not a wolf, they're not a dog, they're not a cat, they're not predators. And so they are designed to run. They will run. I'll be like, yo, it's nothing. Calm down, bro. So the intuitive nature that a horse has to sense things is unparalleled. It's like gnarly. And when you have hope, when I look at this horse and I promised him, I said, I promise you, because he was in the hospital for 3 days. And I said, God, and I'm not super religious. And I said, God, if you let my horse live, and I said this, I think 2 streams ago, I will never complain about anything again. Because I love that horse a lot. And hope gives you everything. And so when I hear people complain about their diets or going to bed early or, what am I going to eat? There's not enough diversification. I'm like, you don't know what it's like to really, really love yourself. Because if you love yourself, you'll make yourself challenge yourself and life, and you'll have hope, and you'll go through everything. And when you want everything set up to be so easy, that's not living. If you had the same friends for 30 years and you've never traveled anywhere, you've never experienced anything, you haven't built something with your hands, you sit down at the end of the day and watch TV and frack with your phone, you don't know what it's like to live. And that, living like that, cannot give you hope. And that is my speech for today. Thank you, everyone, for joining this live. For those who came later into this live stream, I did go over all the macros, the tablespoons, the grams, the cups, the visuals. And now it's time for me to go. I'm going to go turn on my propane, heat up this RV, and relax. Peace. Comment below. Hit the notification bell. All for all notifications. Tell me what you want me to talk about. Don't ask complicated questions because I can't over the comment section. You can follow me at Stephanie Ketogenic, where you can see more about health and my fur baby, my husband, fur baby husband, child, Thunder. And there I have more, but he's my favorite. Sorry, not sorry. And you can join my course through stephanieperson.com. If you want a consultation, ask to be put on the waiting list. and I will get you in. I will get you in. I will get you in. Because the last time I did this, I couldn't get people in because I just got thunder. But now I'm going to get people in. All right. Energy! I'm a tired girl. And I'm out. Peace. 15 years and counting on keto at the age of 55. And it feels good because I got hope.